let's start with a prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Oh God, lead us always, guide us to our understanding, to love, and to always growth in wisdom. We ask you this through Jesus our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So the talk today is about your credit protection. There has been a lot of talks about credit, identity, and so on in the media, and there's a lot of jargon that is thrown and people don't understand what they're talking about. Let's do some preliminary things before. So this series is from the Education Committee. The mission statement of the Education Committee is that we should include topics about that includes our school, our religious education program, our adult education, and special education. So I encourage you, if you think that you know somebody that may have a topic, or you're interested in a topic that needs to be covered, that would be beneficial to the parish, let us know. Something about me. I know most of you know me, but I've been living in this parish, in this neighborhood for 22 years. I've been married for the same amount of years in the Catholic Church. And I make a living as an IT consultant at Columbia University and New York Hospital for close to 15 years. Information technology. We are living in a highway of information technology right now. We have seen the use of desktops, laptops, smartphones. We can see now people wearing watches, and those watches can use internet to email, to have SMS text, to talk. We have tablets that are wonderful and can do emailing, browsing the internet. They can keep your calendar. They can take notes. Okay? You can also print also. We have what is called VoIP, which is voice over IP. It used to be that we used to have a landline at our house. And the landline basically was not digital, it was analog. Now, more people than like Verizon and Cablevision are using video of voice over IP, which is digital. So the phone is digital. So they used the same line, sending you video, sending you internet, they're sending you the phone. So everything has become video. We have smart TVs. And those smart TVs, we can connect to the internet. We can connect to various type of TVs channels that are not available in our customary type of TV channels. We have DVRs, which are digital video recorders, which can record your events, your movies, your sports events. We have cameras that has become very digitized, and I just showed you the other day, I have a 360-degree camera that I can take one picture of this room and it will not miss the whole room. So, we become, from a two-dimensional camera, now we have 360-degree, which is a three-dimensional camera, in almost like 4 or 5 dimensions. We have GPS that can take us anywhere, anyhow. We have computerized cars, and we're going to get cars that probably they're going to be able to function themselves without a driver. So we are living right now in a highway of information technology that is moving forward. It's not moving backwards. It's not going backwards. There's more to come, more than this. And this is just a list to start. And then we got this column here, we have the sources of the data that uses all of the list. We have browsers, Google Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, Internet Edge, emails. We have Google email, we have Yahoo email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, data stream, video, audio, wireless, secure and unsecure. We also got viruses, malware, social engineering, phishing, data sharing through USB and devices. So all this stuff is part of our life right now. You know, it's part of what we see every day. Maybe you're not using Instagram, maybe you're not using Facebook, but you are browsing the web. You're using some of these technologies in the software of the hardware. All right, so let's move on. In the United States, I know this is small, but I'm going to try to see if we can decipher this. In the United States, everybody's information falls into two different categories, which is protected health information, which is PHI, and personal identifiable information, which is PII. The protected health information includes, hard for me to see it because it's so small, but it includes dates, phone numbers, fax numbers, email addresses, social security numbers, medical record numbers, health insurance beneficiary numbers, account numbers, certificate numbers, vehicle identification numbers such as your driver's license, device identifiers. All of these falls on what is called the Protected Health Information Act, which is called HIPAA in high tech. HIPAA was a mandate by Congress that basically told anyone who collected this information, most of it is collected by hospitals and institutionals that collect or take care of a person's health. And the government said basically, you need to take care of this information. This information is critical for every U.S. citizen. And therefore, if you go to a hospital, one of the things that you want to make sure is that they are protecting your information. Because that information is critical to you. It identifies you. Okay. So, for example, where I work, Derek Jeter goes over there. A lot of the Yankees over there. And we have to protect their information to make sure that nobody steals it and it appears in the news. A lot of famous people go over there. So it's like the same as you and me. If you go over there for an operation, do you like your personal information to be delivered to somebody who's unknown? No, you want it to be protected. So that's one kind of information, which is the PHI information. The other information that the government says that it needs to be protected is the PII, which is the personal identifiable information. And that includes the full name of the person, the home address, the email address, a national identification number, a passport number, an IP address, such as a computer, a vehicle registration number, like a plate on your plates, the driver's license, face, fingerprints, or handwriting, credit card numbers, digital identity, date of birth, birthplace, generic information, telephone number, login name, screen name, nickname, or handle. So these two lists represent what the government has said that all this information needs to be protected in these two type of categories. It could happen that in a institution such as a hospital, you may have both of them, or they change and you can have to protect both of them. Any questions about the list? Now, just one more thing here. This right here, which is the login name, screen name, is sometimes that false password in there too. Those are things that if somebody steals that information from you, you can change it. But your date of birth, if somebody steals it, you can't change that. Your social security number, if somebody steals that, you can't change that. Your first and last name, you can't change that. So there are critical information that cannot be changed. It's going to be you. Okay? Always. In the United States, there are 3 major credit card reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They are not government agencies. They are for-profit agencies. They make a profit by collecting our data and charging us for our data. Everybody knew that? They collect our data and they charge us back for the data. Let me tell you how that works. Oh, let me go back. So they are all for-profit companies, not owned by the government. They have a reporting relationship with banks and financial institutions. So if Leo goes to the bank, he wants to get a loan. The bank asks Leo certain information, PII, his first, last name, social security number, his home address, his date of birth. Then that information goes to Equifax sent by the bank. But then before they send it there, sometimes the bank says, Leo, you have to pay a fee for us to check your credit. And then that fee is sent to Equifax. And Equifax sent back some information about Leo. So they are making a profit out of your data. All the financial institutions send the data over there. Whatever loan you made, whatever credit card you took in the United States, whatever you moved, if you moved from place to place, at one point or another, you're going to have to report that you moved. So that all that data is sent back to Equifax, to Experian, and TransUnion. Okay? So they have compiled a bunch of data on us. A lot of data, meaning every single time we open a credit card, every single time we closed it, every single time we took a student loan, every single time we refinanced our mortgage, every single time we moved. Anything you can think of financial speaking that is attached to you, they know. They have it. They have it. Okay? And that's what the credit report will show to the potential loaner or the creditors, whether you are at risk or not. Also, if you don't pay your bills, if you don't pay the Canadian bill, they will report you. So they will know whether you were delinquent on your bills or whether you're paying on time. When do you think, what do you think, let me ask you the question. Do you think they will keep all this data forever or they would just throw it away at a certain point? Let's say you're delinquent in your Canadian bill. You think we'll keep that forever? You think so?
For me, I think just as your memory gets full on your phone and other things, and sometimes you have to delete certain things.
These people have unlimited bank of bytes to put all this data. What about if you're always on time and you pay your bills on time? Do you think they will keep that information or will throw it away?
Because they think you are giving them money.
You think we'll throw it away?
No, I think they will keep it.
As a matter of fact, it's the other way around. They will keep that.
Oh, they will?
They will keep that and throw away the other one.
Oh.
Yes.
I would think they would keep the
No, they will keep the other one.
Oh.
This one that you pay on time will be indefinite.
Oh.
The other one will have a certain time where they keep it. We're going to find out. So the information that they collect are credit card accounts, payment history, telephone and utility companies that they want you paying monthly. If you're in collection, they're keeping track of that. Okay? Your debt, whatever you owe, they're keeping track of that. And what do they do with this information? They sell it to any financial institution that is making an inquiry to you. If you go for a loan, then they will inquiry about Leo's or myself, and they will sell that information to the bank. Say, hey, here is Leo's history. He has a history of being delinquent in paying his bills in time,
I
or paying his bill late.
Actually, sometimes they may.
So how long do they keep the information? Personal information, which means name, last name, first name, social security number, they will keep indefinite. And if you have a good payment history as well. So good payment history and your personal information, they will keep forever. Bankruptcy, 10 years. After 10 years, they will clear it out. Write-off balances, 7 years. Meaning, write-off, for example, if I go to the hospital and I don't have insurance, by law, they have to see me in the ER. It costs the hospital $250 to see a patient in the ER. But by law, they have to see me. I don't have insurance. The hospital writes that off. So you go, they put you on collection that you didn't pay that money, and then they will get the write-off. So will you go into that credit report as a write-off? See that? And then you have collection accounts at 7 years. And anybody who makes an inquiry into your credit report, whether you get it or not, they will keep it for 2 years. As a matter of fact, the more inquiries that you get in your credit report, the worse your score gets. We're just talking about the information that the big credit companies, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, been collecting from us, and how long they keep that information for. And we just went through the number of information that they're keeping. And remember, this information is considered PII, personal identifiable information. Okay? There's nothing here about your health. So this is different than PHI. PHI they don't keep. Okay? They will fall on a different law if they keep PHI. They only keep in your financial information. That's what they care about. And here is how long they keep this financial information for. So the Equifax Bridge. So in September, we started hearing about something happening with Equifax. But the real thing was done in May and July. The real problem started in May and July, and we only heard about it in September. Okay. The hackers accessed names, social security numbers, birthdays, and in some instances, driver's licenses. They also stole the credit card numbers for about 209,000 people, in personal documents for about 182,000. But the most significant thing is that they stole 143 million people. They stole these. These affected not only U.S. citizens, but UK and Canada as well. So we're talking about almost 50% of the population. And if you remember that number, if you take out the kids, they never had any financial loan or anything like that, any credit history, and you take out the people that never had a credit history either, we're talking about, take that number out, we probably this number of 43-something% will jump to more like 75-85%. So, am I on the 143 million people? You probably are, all of you, and me included. Equifax says that there's steps to protect yourself. If you go to this website, you can find out if you are in the 44%. But some people tested this, and they put Trump. Oh. And he came out positive. But at the same time, somebody else puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and came out positive. So that means that cannot be trusted. They went to another, they tested this in the evening, at night, in a computer, in a laptop, and it all came out different answers. So it meant that Equifax was not being truthful about it. So you couldn't trust this website to find out. So how do you know if you really are? You are. You are. We are.
Okay, so now my question is, if you are included, what it means is that somebody can just hack into your accounts and take something?
We'll go in there in a minute. So,
otherwise I would say, okay, if you know, you're fine.
in October 2nd, very recently, Equifax for the first time admitted that they completed a forensic analysis of everything that was done on the breach, and that they were going to send notices to people. I haven't seen mine yet. Are you going to see it? No. So here is, I wouldn't trust this website. You can go, but one of the things that they do is that they offer these enroll to protect and monitor credit for free. The only problem is that they are offering their own services. They're not using a third party to do it. So in order to save money, they're doing themselves. So why trust somebody who got breached and then trust them again?
To investigate.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. It's free, but that's what they say. Okay. So what are the steps that we can take to protect ourselves? We can do what is called a freeze of your credit. How that works. You go to each of these agencies and basically you freeze the credit. In New York, they don't supposed to charge you. In New York. Other states, they charge you a fee. In New York, they don't charge you for freezing your credit. Freezing your credit means that you put a freeze on it and no one can make an inquiry without your knowledge. Right now, if your credit is not frozen, anybody can go and make an inquiry. You wouldn't know about it until you get the bill that says, hey, somebody took a loan on my name. But if you freeze it, nobody can take a loan on your name because when you freeze it, they give you a password. And that password is given to you, and you need to provide a password in order to anybody to make an inquiry. Okay? So if you freeze that, which is right now is $0 to freeze it, nobody can make an inquiry. I froze all mine. I'm 50 years old. I'm not going to make another loan. I don't foresee doing anything like that. So for the time being, I froze them all. Anybody who wants to make an inquiry, come to me and see me. Okay. That's a good thing about the freeze. Even they have to see you. They have to talk to you in order to something to appear. Is it good to have a monitor credit? It's true, that's good too. But it's not as safe as this, as freezing it completely. Now, if you're somebody who's going to do a loan, maybe you should not freeze it right now. Do what you have to do, and then freeze it later on. Now, you can also unfreeze it. So, as long as you have your password, that's the key. You keep your password in a safe place. And I always tell people, in my list, I have, between my job, personal, I have about 140 passwords. 140 passwords.
You keep forgetting them.
No, but how do I keep that, right? Well, you take a Word document, a Word from 2010, I think 2010, 2013, or 2016. Whenever you put a password on it, it's protected and encrypted. So you take a Word document, put them all there, save that with a long password, okay? And that will be your document you're going to refer to for your password. That's the only way I can do it. I didn't trust anybody with my password. Well, they stole is information that cannot be changed. Your name cannot be changed. Your social security cannot be changed. Your date of birth cannot be changed. You know, these are critical information to everybody. Another thing besides freezing your accounts is that, remember, the cyber criminals have your social security number. So that means that they can go to the RA website and file a tax return for you. Yeah, very easily. They can go to the Social Security office and open an account on their behalf. Since you haven't opened it, they open it for you. So it's advisable that you go to the Social Security office website and open an account before they do. Go to the IRS website, open an account before they do. Okay? Contact your credit card companies and bank. There's something called two-factor authentication. Anybody heard of that? Anybody knows what that is? Okay. For example, when I go and log in to my work from home, I log in, put in my login name, my password, and that triggers an alarm that sends it to my phone and says, "Is that you, Sean? Is that you really?" And then I have to say, "Yes, it's me." But there's two ways that guarantee who I am. That I'm the person who's logging in, and it backs into my phone and says, "Hey, is that you that's trying to log in?" Because if it's not, they will not know the phone number. So a lot of banks and credit cards have a two-factor authentication. That's the best way to persuade anyone to go into your credit cards information. So there's a whole list. You can find out, for example, Discover has it. I get my text every time there's or my wife makes purchase. I get a text from Discover that says, "Hey, somebody made a purchase this time this year." They also, every time something happens, they always send me a text. Google the same thing. When you log into Gmail, it has two-factor authentication that says, "Hey, somebody logged in from this website, from this laptop, from this desktop. Is that really happening?" Because remember, my Google account, you don't want anybody to have your account. It has a lot of implications too. It may be looked very superficial, but Google account is important. Okay. So, this one is important to know. This is another thing you can do to protect yourself with this two-factor authentication.
Now, I don't use Google often. I have Google account, but I use Yahoo. And recently Yahoo was something.
I'm sure that you have it too.
Yeah, but now I think they send you what they call product key.
Mm-hmm.
And they send you a number through your phone, the SMS message that you can log in before you go into your email.
Exactly.
And recently, EHE. At first, you just log in with your password and it was okay. But now you put in the username. They have to send you a product key.
The product key, so you put it in the key.
Right.
To
be able to.
Yeah. There's different companies do the two-factor authentication different ways. Sometimes you just click yes, I am. You put a key as well, and sometimes it's your fingerprint also. It works with your fingerprint. Okay. The other thing you need to do is to check your credit report. And of course, file your taxes early. You don't want somebody else to file for you. So make sure you file them this year, especially. File them right away, because you never know who has your Social Security number. So who is interested in this data? Do you guys know that what we know about the internet is only 5% of the internet? Did you know that? The thing that we know as an internet is only 5% of the internet. The rest of the internet, 95% of it, is on the what is called the dark web. In the dark web, nobody knows anybody. And if you try to enter as Father Stephen, you will get in a lot of trouble. Because they will spoof you and they will know who you are, where you live, and they will look for you. So in the dark web, nobody knows anybody because everything is encrypted. And there's people who know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I know what the software is to get in there, but I wouldn't go. Even the dark web people have rules. They don't accept child pornography in the dark web. That's prohibited. But they accept selling illicit drugs. They accept all kinds of other things. And it's only by invitation. You can only knock at the door and you put the password in and you get it. So it's only by invitation. It's a very dark place. And it's not, you can't find it by Google. Google will not be able to get it. Yahoo will not be able to get it. Nobody will be able to get it. And this 90% of the time. And websites come up, like one day they're up, one day they're down. So it's a very dark place where people
So who controls that? Is it
and anybody that gets into that. Most of the hackers go in there. There is a program called Tor. It's a browser, and that's how you get it. Most of the time people say do not use that to get in because people, for example, how the web works. When I go to Google from my house, the server on Google and my server for Cablevision have to shake a hand. Google asks him, who are you? Well, I am Cablevision calling from Sean's house. And he tells them my IP address. They know exactly where I am. And then this guy says, okay, come in, I'm Google, let me see everything, and I'm going to lock down who you are. You came in, you everything, you log into my invite. So every time you go to a website, it knows who you are. That's how the web works. Every time you go to a bank, the bank knows who you are that is logging in. So in the dark web, the same thing happens. You go in innocently, and they know who you are. And you might not know how to respond to that.
And once they get to know you, that's where they can hack your information. Or whether you go in there or you don't go there, they still know you.
Yes. Because these are people that use what is called encryption to encrypt their existence. And they know how to do it. But you do it, you go there innocently, you don't know how to do that. Most of the internet, I say, is in the dark web. No one knows anyone in the dark web. Everything is secret. Everything is like by invitation. You have to have a key to get in. And websites appear, disappear. And the market for PII, what is PII? PII stand for? Personal
identification information.
Exactly. Is elastic. In economics, Father, the laws of economics, supply and demand apply. The supply and demand apply for the data. If you have a need for the data, I have the data. Okay? So that's what sets the market for the data. Here is the market of the data. The shelf life of PII is the shorter the shelf life, the cheaper the price. For example, credit card numbers have a low shelf life because the financial institutions will change them right away. So they're very low life. They are, if you get them, you're supposed to get them fresh so they can use them. If you get them 2 days later, nobody's gonna buy it because they're already changed. Okay? So here. So credit card numbers have a low shelf life because financial institutions are quick to respond. But medical records, social security numbers, maiden names have a long shelf life because those are not changing and those are expensive and they are irreplaceable. So those people really care about. And this goes to Lynette. She asked me somebody, Lynette or Natalie said, oh, Rebecca. She said, oh, I'm not there because I haven't taken it long. You know what? People that don't have credit are the most valuable because they have credit. And that information is critical to them. It's the most expensive one. Your social security number is more expensive than mine because you have no history. I have a history already. And they can use you to create all kinds of things. So children, kids, and young adults information is very valuable. Very valuable.
Isn't there a way to check that out? Like you check out your child's name?
Not if it's in the black market in the dark
Oh,
web,
no,
right?
not the black market. I mean,
Or if they are.
yeah, like if you went to one of those sites, like at the
It's-
last meeting, I think you gave a website. I tried it, and it was
It's not guaranteed. I say we have that website that Equifax sent
Yeah,
it.
I tried it, and it wouldn't open.
Some people put, you know what people did? They put 1, 2, 3 as a social security number, and it gave him an answer. Somebody else puts Trump as an answer. They gave it an answer. So that was not a very secure website that gives you an answer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that none of that is working right now. They don't know for sure that's working. But it's most likely that we are all in the same boat with the data. And then you have the potential return on investment is that well-established credit cards. These people are so bad that they know that the well-established credit cards in well-economical countries are valued a lot, as opposed to a country that is in bankruptcy. Those credit cards are worth nothing. So they know this, and they hold. You think the Equifax has data to hold? These people have more space to hold. Because once they get this information for you, they might not do anything for years. And they hold it until they get another information that tied to this one might be worth a lot more. So that's the problem now. The problem is we don't know who stole it. Is it cyber criminals? Or is it spies in China and Russia? We don't know. And nobody has claimed that they have the data. Nobody's asking for money for the data. But there was 143 million people of data that was stolen. And we don't know where it is. Now, today, just happened today. I didn't mean for it to happen today. I didn't know that we were gonna have this day, but I don't know if you heard the news. Did you guys read the news this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning? Okay. How many people have Wi-Fi at home? How many people have an Android phone right now? Okay. How many people have laptops at home? Okay. Tonight, in your Android phone, turn off the Wi-Fi and turn off the Wi-Fi for your laptop. It's all hacked. As of this morning, 8 o'clock.
Hacked it already.
Yes. At 8 o'clock this morning, what is called the WPA2, which is the Wi-Fi with your router, was found to be flawed and hackable.
So that.
What happens is that the people who made the code left it with bugs in it, and they just find out today. And what happens is if you have your Android phone open with the Wi-Fi, somebody from the outside can look at your Android phone. You might even look at a person and get into the Android. And remember the shake that I was telling you about? There's a shake between the two wireless. And one wireless sends a key, and the wireless says another key is, hey, we are talking to each other and we are secure. But the other guy comes in and says, hey, I have another key. Can you look at it? He says, yeah, I take the key. And then the other one takes the other key, and now you have talking to three people. And now when you thinking that you shopping to Amazon securely, sending your credit card, encrypted, the other guy is getting it too. And your password and you're using it.
Okay. So how do you turn your Wi-Fi?
You have to turn it off.
How?
Well, in the phone, you just turn it off.
On your computer?
On your computer, you turn off the Wi-Fi. Use the wire.
He'll turn it off
Even
now.
even if you're not using your laptop?
Even if you're not using it. Because remember, it's communicating outside. If somebody goes, it has to have somebody getting into your house, in front of your house.
Right, and then you are on Facebook, whether they are sending messages,
Exactly.
they are doing all
Exactly. If you're using, for example, if you're using Facebook, Instagram, and all that on wireless, you are vulnerable to that. At the hospital today, we don't have a way to turn off the Wi-Fi. So we told everybody, just wait until we get a solution, because the manufacturers right now, the big ones, Cisco, Linksys, all of them are saying we don't know if we are in this boat or not. So all the Wi-Fi, I told my kids, hey, do not turn on the Wi-Fi tonight.
So if you turn it off tonight, when can
Whenever that says okay, because Microsoft has already said there's a patch. It's going to come tonight on your Windows machine. For Microsoft only.
So how about if you shut off the computer or the laptop without the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, that works too.
So
but-
if the laptop's off,
Yeah, that works too. Yeah, you can leave that router open.
oh, but leave the machine on.
Off, exactly. Because you don't want to communicate with the router.
Oh,
The
okay.
router is
So
the
if
problem.
You can turn the machine off.
I don't know what's going to happen with the routers, because the routers going to have to have patch too.
So that's why I'm saying, I says, we just turn it, because like I said, I have a security system and it's hacked, it's the wireless. So to take it off the wire, the router,
Yeah,
that affects
everything.
everything.
Yeah, don't turn it off.
And I have the Nest that controls the heat,
Yeah.
so
Don't
everything
turn
is
it off. Just turn on
just
your.
on my laptop and my,
Just turn it off there. If you can take the laptop and connect it to the router with a wire, that would be better. Instead of using the wireless.
So now if you mean turning off the Wi-Fi, I click on my Wi-Fi and turn it off.
Yes.
That without even turning my phone off.
Right.
Is that okay?
Right.
Okay.
And the worst thing you can do is to go to McDonald's or to Starbucks and get on their Wi-Fi. That's the worst you can do.
I never use all those places when I was, they give you a list when my telephone doesn't use this, and there's a list like this, or even my neighbor, my doctor, my dentist, is over there.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, we have a big problem with this one. We don't know what to do. I got an email that says that they don't know what to do. They're waiting for the big manufacturers to solve the problem for tomorrow. And telling everybody to follow the on time.
So what happens now, like say, in the hospitals and the businesses, and
They're gonna have to wait until the big manufacturers do it, fix it.
so they have to shut everything off?
No, they left it on. They left it on because they can operate that.
Right,
but that's why I said you're
Yeah.
always screwed anyway.
They-
If that's turned
They're
off.
gonna get your
Turned off.
information from the medical, they're gonna get your information from anywhere.
Make sure that happens. HTTPS is very important. I'm going to put all of this on the website with the sound, so if you're interested in hearing or looking at the some of the sources that I got this from, you can read more about it. Any other question? So there's a lot of things that you need to do to protect yourself, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't know a lot about this. I know because I work at a hospital, and we have to follow all the rules. We have to do things sometimes the extra mile because we need to protect what we deal with. So it's very important. This stuff is very important. You know, I didn't go into the DVRs, into the cameras, and all of that, but all of that needs to also be looked at. You know. All right. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it.